Okay. Alright, I should be unmuted, so hopefully, you know, it actually is. Alright, so WoW Challenge is Wednesday. We're gonna be working on our 3 bloodthirsties here. Probably not gonna be that chatty today. I'm not feeling that great. I feel a migraine a-coming. So, yay, there's that. Plus, it's still super hot. We're under another heat advisory for the next couple of days. Didn't we have 4 of these neck towels?
Yeah, but I don't know where the others went.
Alright, mine might need to get washed tonight. Even if it's just in the sink. Or maybe I'm just being weird.
There's something wrong with it?
Just smells a little funky.
Yeah, honey, don't forget I wore these when I was working at Polytech. It's gonna smell funky.
No, no, no. It smells like new funky, like sweat funky.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Zorts. You've survived the DMV. Well, you're here, so I guess no one caused a scene. And no one had to go to jail. Or at least not police jail.
Your chat's in emo mode, dear.
Oh. Is it? It says I disabled it. Twitch. What the fuck?
Says
It says it's disabled. I re-enabled it.
It was showing up as emo mode on me as well, so it might just be something weird with Twitch.
That's weird because I had it saying that it was disabled and it wasn't saying it was emo only on my end? That's bizarre. Twitch likes to do that. Twitch is twitchy. Well, that's good. That's good. Like, I know I'm getting a migraine, but I was like, it said it was fucking disabled. Fuck you, Twitch. Fuck you. Oh my goodness. Can nothing behave today? Everything's being dumb. Animals flipping over water cups and... That splashed me in the face. Like, I have a little footstool. Kind of like an ottoman. Next to the bed. That the dog... That we've been trying to teach the dogs to use to get up on the bed ever since Momo hurt himself. So they're not jumping from the floor. Because the bed's not on a bed frame, but the platform it sits on, it makes it kind of higher than our last bed. And, we have a water cup and a little cup of food for Momo next to his dog bed sitting on this thing. And I don't know if it was a cat, I don't know if it was a dog, because I was asleep and something wet hit my face and I was like, what the fuck? And Russell woke up yelling at the cat because the cat clawed his face. And how bad was that mark? Did you look?
Oh, I didn't notice.
The cat got startled by the water splashing, I guess, and freaked out and got his face. And I don't know if the cat that caused the water to splash was the one that scratched him, or if the dog did it trying to get in the dog bed around the other dog. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know. Shenanigans. While you were gone, your sister went to his house, snagged a bank statement and as many of his checkbooks as she could find so we can get a handle on why things aren't being paid. Jesus Christ. He just stopped paying everything? Did he give all his money to those political campaigns and now he doesn't have any? Like, holy shit. Has he just... Maybe he's just entered old person fuck it mode. I don't know. I mean, I went through a period of time where I just stopped paying everything. He drained his checking account to political shit. Jesus Christ. Oh my god! Oh no, 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 no. Oh my god. Holy shit. It's one thing if you want to donate and you can afford to do so and you believe in something strongly enough that you want to throw money at it, but that's a little excessive. Oh, damn. Wow. No, I pretty much had a nervous breakdown several years ago, and just was so betrayed by people that I thought were who they turned out not to be. I just... Stuff just hit a point where I just kind of gave up on everything and stopped paying bills and entered a very dark place mentally, and I paid for it. I mean, I eventually got my shit straightened out, or as straightened out as I could. I finally dealt with the collection agencies that were coming after me and people that wanted a piece of me and shit. So I did get that all sorted before we got married, but it was not a fun place to be in. It got better for a little while. And then, you know, family shit. It's his money, he can do what he wants with it, but he needs to make sure his fucking response. Yeah, like, you know, if it comes down to let me send X number of dollars to this political campaign or pay my electric bill should be first. Or car insurance, or, you know, basic needs need to be met with before you have leftover money to hand out. Like, there's so many people I wish I could donate money to or do something to help them, but by the time we take care of our shit that has to be taken care of, there ain't nothing left right now. I think we had $10 to get us through, like, 3 weeks, so that was fun. And we still haven't heard anything. We still haven't gotten a letter, so I'm getting a little nervous because they didn't say how long it would be before we got this letter. So I don't know if we're going to give it one more week before we call the lawyer and be like, hey, do you know, like, how long it usually takes for these letters to show up? Because I don't know if I just didn't get it or if they just didn't send it out yet. Your sisters are exercising the power of attorney to get his finances under control. Oh, that's gonna not go well. I'm sure he's gonna be pissed off about that, but he needs to make sure he has money for food and that his rent or whatever is getting paid before he starts handing it out. I mean, it's great to be generous and help people, but you also have to, you know, take care of yourself too. Probably not, but actions are inactions in this case of consequences. Yeah. That they do. I paid for my consequences. I mean, I had collection agencies after me. There was a time period where I had entered the, they said they weren't going to take less than X dollar amount. And then if I didn't pay X dollar amount a month, they were going to take me to court, and I didn't want to go to court, and because that would cost me even more money that I didn't have. So I entered a payment agreement, and like 3 or 4 months into said payment agreement, I got laid off from the casino. Yep, that was fun. My entire unemployment check went to those collection agreements because they had already said that that was the lowest amount they were going to take. Why are you buffering, Twitch? And all kinds of fun things. You know, my Twitch's dashboard's being dumb. Let me refresh it here. It's saying I have 1 viewer. I don't know what the fuck it's doing. It's being dumb. Now it's connecting to the chat. Now it's putting the timestamps on the chat, which I thought I had it doing before and it wasn't showing it. I don't know what the fuck is going on today. I give up. Give up. Pre-migraine Nini is not here for this shit. I downed some ibuprofen. We'll see if that heads things off. Sometimes if I take it soon enough, it can prevent it from getting more than a mild nuisance. Becoming a mild nuisance. There we go. Words. However, this time, since I'm not picking my words right, that might not be the case. So we're gonna have all kinds of fun slurry Nisey probably in a few hours. That's gonna be fun. Not really. But we're gonna get as far as we can through this here today. Pretty happy with how the taverns came out in our Michael's Minecraft. We got that all decorated up. I had to move mine locations because I wasn't finding what I was looking for. And they've, since all of the updates, and it's been a while since I've played to any meaningful degree in that game. I go through fits and spurts with it. They've changed what levels ore generates on, and they added another 64 levels to the world, so bedrock doesn't spawn on doesn't start spawning on like level 4 or 3 or whatever anymore. It now is like negative 59 or something, and I'm just like, really? So that's why there was so much deep slate when we got down to the bottom in the one mine, and I really needed coal. And every direction I was trying to dig in was becoming a pain. I wasn't finding what I was looking for. I kept hitting water or these ginormous caverns. I mean, it served its purpose for finding the mine shaft and getting the string that I needed. Since we're on peaceful, I didn't have a way to get string because there weren't any cats around, so I was like, okay, this is a problem. And Russ was like, well, sometimes you can fish it up. I said, yeah, but you have to have string to make the fishing pole to begin with, so, you know, that's not gonna work. So, I mean, we got a bunch of string that's gonna serve us for now. I still haven't found a village nearby. We haven't walked more than a day away because I keep getting turned around with how dense the woods are. So, when I came out, what was I looking for? Oh, last night I was looking for some white flowers or some pink flowers just to add to the greenhouse area around the beehive. And I wasn't finding what I was looking for, and on my way back I saw something I'd never seen, which I guess was kind of like a canyon crevice, but I kind of kept like seeing, oh wow, that would be like an awesome place for like a castle wall or something to enter into or whatever. And I started to explore that a bit, and when I came back up I got disoriented as to which way I had taken to get down there, and I was like, oh no, But then as I was walking, I saw the moon starting to rise and realized that I was walking towards it instead of sideways to it, and I was like, no, we're going the wrong way, and we eventually made it back, and landmarks started looking familiar again, but I almost got myself into a bit of trouble there, which would have sucked, because I have like 20 diamonds back at base. I'm holding on to them at the moment. I don't want to blow through them just yet, because there's some stuff I still want to make. I want to make my enchanting room, and that's going to go in the house, but small steps right now. We're putting in the greenhouse underneath so that I can at least have some food access. No more llamas. I hit a thing where I was getting a village trader, wandering trader. There we go. Like every time one left, another one was showing up within 5 minutes, and I was like, what the fuck is even happening? And then I'll go through a spurt where it'll be like maybe almost a week or 2 weeks of game days that go by before the cycle starts again. It's very strange. I don't really understand it. It's some weird generator that causes them to show up or not, but I'm getting tired of their leads breaking on the llamas. I think if I leave them alone, they'll disappear with him. But at that point I was like free llama, so I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with them. Like, I can't really farm them for anything, but I can use them as pack mules to transport stuff, which is what I might end up doing. Hey, 44. Because I've decided that our farm community is going to be in that area just over the hill, or maybe in the savannah area where it's a little bit flatter. And I'm gonna need to shepherd a bunch of stuff back that way. So maybe I'll just throw some boxes on them. I'm setting this up, right? And I'm like, wait, I'm not in the selfie cam mode. Something looks funny. There we go. Alright, I'm lazy. We're just gonna hearth back. But tavern came out pretty cute. Starting to work on my house and realized I wanted grass around where the flowers are planted at the base of the beehive. So I'm kind of stymied at the moment because I'm waiting for the grass to grow, and it's taking its ever fucking time to grass bridge over. I don't have my enchanting table set up yet. I spent some time dicking around yesterday trying to breed some cows so I could get some books made, and every time I bred them, I turned around and, well, I wouldn't turn around. I'd stand there and I'd AFK for a second. I'd alt tab out to look at something, because, you know, you can only breed them so many minutes apart from each other. And while I was waiting for the timer to kick down before I could breed them again, they all wandered away and I couldn't find them. I found like 2, and I'm like, I had like I had 3 adult cows and I had like 4 babies, and I'm like, where the fuck did you all go? Where did you go? I found 3, and I'm like, there should be more of you. What happened? And then I started finding them again, and I was trying to drag them all over to the savannah spot where there weren't as many trees in the way so I could see them. And I did get mad at one point and started cutting down trees because I couldn't find them. Those fuckers traveled. I was like, Russell, free-range cows, don't recommend. Because I didn't pen them in because I didn't know where I was going to keep them, and I was just like, why? It was just pay the ass. But I've got cows, I've got sheep, I've got pigs, I've got chickens everywhere, so I should be able to set up our farm community fairly easily. I haven't found a village to get carrots or beetroots or anything from yet. That might be an expedition. We'll see what happens. Wild challenges bloodthirsty, troll your soul. Where multitasking's not working today. Dings level 44. We're looking at a slash played of 3 days. Oh, dyslexic strikes again. 3 days, 8 hours. This is why it takes me so long to type anything. I'm so glad that Dark Moon Fair article's done. You guys have no idea. 1 minute. 7 seconds. That was a beast. I had no template to work with. We had to make a new one. Because it didn't quite follow the same pattern as the other world events. So, it was a bit overwhelming. But she's done. It felt weird having time to myself this week, and all I did was play Minecraft. I had other plans. I was going to work on my paint by number. I was going to get our flamingo painting sorted, the sketch sorted for Sunday. I can do that any day this week, but I was like, yeah, I'll work on this. And the only thing I did get done that I wanted to get done was I got I got some stuff posted to Etsy. I got 3 of our needle felting projects posted up on there, and I got
knowledge is the best currency. But I do golden eggs.
Sorry, I had a yawn stuck. It didn't want to happen. I got some stuff reposted. It's probably not going to sell. Those magnets haven't been moving. I sold a couple when I first made them, but nobody wants a Bob Ross painted magnet, I guess.
Come back and barter sometime.
So it was 165 on that. I should have just stuck that in there with that one. That was
Come back
silly.
and barter
Okay, so like 171. Not bad. This one's got 6 more levels to go before they get the hell out of here and enter the doom that will be Shadowlands. Yeah, so there's stuff in the Etsy links now for a little bit till November. I had a couple dollars left from my part of our anniversary money, so I'd been holding on to it. I was debating whether or not I wanted to do that or not, and I'm like, well, I'm putting the link everywhere. I really should have something up in the shop. Because I'd been noticing a hit here or there going to an empty shop. And I'm like, well, that's not going to get me anywhere. So for better or worse, probably for worse, because we don't get much action there. But I'm also not, like, promoting the link constantly on Twitter, because I feel like people are going to get annoyed. But maybe I should be better at doing that. I don't know. But I got that done. I got the paint in my one container under my desk. I saw that. Thank you. Yeah, I don't have many followers, and what followers I do have on Twitter, I don't have a lot of interaction with when I try to get interaction with people, so I'm just a social awkward lump of a puddle, and you know, all that stuff. But I do appreciate the retweets and the likes and stuff. It does help. It gets more eyes on it, and I've noticed that I keep setting my Twitter to latest tweets, and it keeps putting it back to top tweets. And the one day it changed it back and forth on me no less than 4 times. And I'm like, stop. Like, I want to see what somebody said today, not like 2 weeks ago, okay? 2 weeks ago was been and done. But it was angering me quite a bit. And I was like, stop it. I was like, Twitter, I'm done. And then there's a couple days where I don't want anything to do with social media, where my head's not in the right space to be dealing with all of the crap in the world and seeing everything thrown back in my face that I just don't have the energy to deal with, due to other more pressing matters that are in my face that I do have to deal with. So, you know, I go through cycles where, do I have the energy for this battle? Nope. Okay, I'm just going to be here long enough to check on the WoW challenges stuff, and then I'm out. So there'll be days where I don't post anything on Twitter or whatnot, because I'm not there mentally. Can't do it. But now that we're starting to wrap up our WoW project, we're going to be starting to try to get some more art in. There's a couple of games I'm wanting on Steam. We'll see. Coral Island is supposed to be hitting early access in October, which I should have access to based off of where I had backed them on Kickstarter. What was it? Over a year and a half ago at this point. First and only thing I ever backed on Kickstarter, and I can't remember how much money I did. It wasn't much. 10, 15, 20 at the most.
15.
Yeah, it wasn't a whole lot, and I was like, well, that doesn't seem so bad for early access. It'll give us something to do, and it kind of looked like a combo of Stardew Valley and my time at Portia, or Portia, however the fuck you're supposed to pronounce it. So I was like, let's see. So that's supposed to be coming in October at some point, which we might trade out Parkitect for. We'll see. What's that?
I'm just gonna go lay down in the other room.
Do I need to stop?
No, I'm gonna charge my phone.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I can't.
He's been fairly good.
Yeah, all the more reason to reward it.
Alright, are you coming back, or do I need to come get you when I'm done?
If I haven't shown up by then, feel free to come get me.
Okay. So, you know, Russell and I have been trying to adopt a philosophy of there's so many battles that we have in a 24-hour period that a lot of people don't know about. And I don't mean like battle as in fighting each other. I mean battle as in just what life is throwing at us. 'Cause where we are mentally, it's definitely a pick and choose your battle, pick and choose your victory, celebrate what victories you can get. Some days the battles are different, some days they're not. Some days it's like today's battle is getting dinner made, or, you know, today's battle is getting half of the sink full of dishes done. Some battles are Russell being able to eat more than a piece of toast with some peanut butter on it. Like, it depends, and, you know, small victories we cherish, actually, you know. Somebody eating something different for dinner, not a big deal to them, you know. They eat 5 different things a week. That's a big deal for us, is him having something that's not toast a lot of days. So, you know, we take what we can get. The past few days have been a bit rough, well, actually, I guess the past 2 weeks have been a bit rough, but the past couple of days have been exceedingly so. So, you know, we've just been head down, just getting through it, as best as we can. And I swear the mother-in-law knows when he's having an exceedingly rough day. She just can feel it, and not in a good way. Not in a good way at all. So she's been away since, when the fuck did they leave? April? Into March? Into April? I don't even fucking remember anymore. Her and her sister left sometime then. The sister bought a small Winnebago. And they've been riding around doing stuff. Now, I was under the impression Now, this is the same sister. This is, well, Russell's aunt, I guess. We'll go with aunt. This is the same aunt that loaned us the money to get the sewer line fixed, that we now owe every fiber of our being to, as we are struggling to pay her back. That's gonna take like 2.5 years, if we're lucky. Had to be done, though. And, house is over 100? No. I've seen 2 conflicting dates of when this house was built. I've seen dates from 1921, and I've seen dates from 1926. The house is old. I'm surprised the sewer lines had never been replaced up to now anyhow, or if they had. The plumber was like, it's a goddamn mess under there. He goes, there's pipes that go off to nothing. They just stop. He goes, I don't know what the fuck's going on under there. And they were cast iron. They couldn't even remove all the pipes from under the house. They had to, they couldn't do it safely. They had to, like, bury them and put tarps over them and some kind of, like, construction fence to signify that there was something there to be careful about. They're not connected to the sewer line anymore, but they were so big and so heavy, and one of the vent pipes that they were gonna replace or something was over 200 pounds, and they're like, yeah, we're not gonna be able to move that, so this is what we're gonna do instead. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever, just fix it so we can flush the damn toilet. So it's that same aunt that lent us that money, and we thought they were gonna be, you know, adventuring, driving around and seeing national parks and stuff, you know, like bucket list things. That's not what they're doing. They're, driveway hopping between different family members that are letting them park in their driveway and hook up to their utilities, I guess. And I just kind of, I'm confused because this is not what I thought it was supposed to be. And a few weeks ago, the mother-in-law messaged Russell, I don't know if it was on Discord or text or something, and was like, hey, I need you to send me X documents so I can renew my passport. And I looked at Russell and I was like, I just kind of stared at him blankly. I'm like, what? Kind of like the owl blink of, I'm not sure I heard you correctly. What? She wants documents so she can renew her passport. And I looked at him, I said, why? Oh, well, the aunt wants to, go to Canada, I guess, to see things. I don't know if there's family up there. I have no idea. Russell's family is like a never-ending list of people that I've never ever heard of or met. Or maybe they just wanted to go to Canada for shits and giggles. I don't know. I was confused because this was the first we had heard about it. His family plans for nothing. Or if there are actual planners out there that follow through with their plans or try to. I've not heard of them and have not met them. His mother is certainly not one of them. And I just kind of sat there and I'm like, you do realize, or does your mother realize, it's a travel document that lets you transition between countries. You just can't renew that on a whim and expect it to be valid the next day, right? Like, it's not like going to the damn DMV and updating your driver's license. Like, my brain had literally shut down while he was telling me this, and I'm just like, I was like, Russell, she's not even here. Can you do this anywhere? Or do you have to do it in the state that you're residing in at that moment? Like, maybe you can do it anywhere, but I'm like, this takes weeks. Especially depending on how backed up the system is. Like, it could be like 6 to 8 weeks. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what? Like, by the time this gets approved, it's gonna be going into snow season up there, and their asses ain't gonna be driving into Canada when, you know, the temperatures start to dip into the fucking single digits and negatives. I'm like, what? And she's like, oh, well, when you can send them to me. And I was like, well, we ain't got the money to send those kind of documents, because those kind of documents need to be, like, 2-day mailed or something, 'cause you don't want that kind of... I wouldn't want those types of sensitive documents being sent through the mail for anything to fucking happen to them. I'd want them put in my hands. I mean, at least, you know, originals, which is what she wanted. Because she doesn't have photocopies of stuff, and I guess we would have to make photocopies of stuff, but I'm just like, yeah, that's more money that we don't have right now. We have $10 to get us through, like, 3 weeks. Like, what the fuck? And I just kind of looked at him. I'm like, uh-huh. So I started digging, because then it was, you know, in my brain and eating the back of it, where it's like, I didn't even think this is possible. So I'm digging around, and I ended up on us.gov, and turns out, if your passport expired 15 years ago plus, you can't just renew it. You have to reapply. Oh, god damn it. It's gonna evade. These guys have been so evady. This one and the one in the rock behind me. We're gonna have to wait for him to get away from that particular spot. And then you have to reapply from scratch. And I said to him, I said, where is she gonna get the money for the renewal fee anyway? Because I'm looking at potential fees on this shit, and it ain't cheap to renew your passport. Excuse me. He goes, I don't know. He goes, not my problem. I said, well, it kind of is our problem if she doesn't pay something else to do this. And he goes, my aunt would probably end up paying for it because she wants her to go with her. So the aunt would probably foot the bill. And I'm like, okay. The aunt has more money than she pretends she has. Bastard? Fine. Really? See, these two have been glitching like crazy. More often than not lately. Oh, now it's gonna give me the proper view count. But, I was seeing, like, fees between $120 to $165, I guess, depending on what you were doing and what type of document you wanted, and I'm like, that might as well be, like, $500 to us, because that's a lot of money, right now, and, like, what? And, needless to say, we haven't sent her those documents, and I don't know if Russell messaged her saying that, yeah, you probably have to reapply altogether, because the last time, oh god, how long have we been married? Was this our 15th anniversary? I feel like it was. I feel like it was our 15th anniversary. In the time that I've known her, she's not left the country. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that's how, like, her passport's been expired that long, but yeah, so more than likely it was going to have to be a brand new thing, and she was going to have certain forms and certain documents, and I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake. We haven't sent her the documents. Because now she's saying, oh yeah, in September we're going to come down and park in the backyard, and I'm like, excuse me? You're gonna what the what? And Russell's like, yeah, they're planning on bringing the Winnebago and parking it in the backyard. And I was like, no. Like, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work, Chief. And he's like, they're telling me they have a hot water line for the hose, or a heated hose for the water that they can hook up to the water faucet outside, and they'll be fine. And I'm like, no. You mean to tell me they have a heated water hose that's gonna stretch from the front of the house to the backyard? Are we forgetting how far the hose, which is right outside our bedroom window, almost, like, maybe 2 feet from our bedroom window to the side? Our yard is not very wide, but it's deep. And I'm like, the backyard floods when it rains. So that's going to be a muddy mess. We're not going to be able to turn the car around, depending on where they decide to park. The yard's not level. It slopes back. I know there's like, on travel trailers, or campers, there's ways to try to level out the space, your living space, you know, for the appliances and the water tanks and everything to behave properly. Like, I'm not a camper and all, but I've seen enough stuff where, you know, these things need to be kept level to make sure that things are doing what they're supposed to be doing and draining properly and all that. And I'm just like, it's gotta be it's more than 25 feet. More than. Like, our garden hose, which might be 25 feet, barely makes it to our into the backyard. I'm just like, okay, great and all, but they're gonna need like 20 extension cords, depending on the length, to run from the electrical outlet, which I don't know if it's even rated to handle that thing, from the front porch to the backyard. I was like, no. I was like, what happened to the aunt that was going to have these hookups put in if they were going to be doing this? Like, that's vanished. And then I said to Russell, I said, well, the aunt better be coughing up money towards this, because your mom ain't got the money to pay the extra strain on the bills. She don't. Trust me. And, let alone, do they make gray and black water hoses that are over like 25-50 feet long? on those things, because that's a problem too. Because where our sewer vent is, our sewer access is, yeah, and I don't know if I really want them fucking with that after we just got it fixed, because I don't know what they did to it. And I'm just like, oh my god, this is not a good idea. Like, and I said to Russell, I said, you know they're gonna end up being parked right outside our bedroom window. And he goes, oh. I was like, watch it. I would love to see how they're gonna pull this off, because everybody else, they've been in their driveway. And I'm like, you do realize how far it is from these things. He goes, I tried to tell them. They'll find out when they get here. And I'm just like, oh. Give me strength. So now we have the dread of September waiting. If they even follow through with said plan. And, of course I've got something in my eye as soon as I start combat, of course. So, yeah, husband's having a really bad day, mother-in-law calls and makes it worse as she normally does. Doesn't say she's gonna be calling. She just calls. And he has a specific ringtone for when she calls his cell phone. And I was kind of half asleep. He was supposed to be running D&D. So I was like kind of half sleepy drifting because I was kind of waiting for him to get started. And he had to run an errand before he could get started because we ran out of city trash bags. And then I think he had to do something for my mom real quick. And then she called, and I kind of woke up as he was rushing around, and his phone went off with her ringtone, and I'm immediately like, oh god, no. Why is she calling? What the fuck's the matter now? She doesn't check in regularly. And, turned out to be nothing important. But that kind of like, I was laying there waiting for him to walk back in, and he didn't, and I guess I fell back asleep. I didn't think I had fallen back asleep for more than a few minutes, but apparently I had, because I didn't even know what time it was when I went searching for him. All I realized was that he wasn't DMing his game that he was supposed to be, and he wasn't in the bedroom, and I'm like, oh no. So then I'm like, what happened on the phone call? So then I had to go find him. And, apparently she had just called because she missed his voice and hadn't talked to him in a while. And it was like the worst possible moment that she could have done that, because then I don't, she's very scattered or fluffy brained, as I'm gonna call it right now. I don't know if it's this medication she's on, but she's not, how to word this and not sound like a total asshole, she's not appreciating the seriousness of some situations that need to be dealt with a serious outlook, that most people would, but she's also on some sort of depression medication that is making her feel like life is a ball of sunshine, like almost overly so. But it's tough for Russell to deal with, because I don't know how much of it is her normal self shining through, or how much of it is this medication she's on that's possibly coloring her outlook on certain things. So when they were talking, she didn't really react in a way that Russell was expecting her to, even slightly, about the topics that had been discussed. And that kind of upset him because I think he thought that normally she would have, so he doesn't know why, but it was like another thing, another support system that he kind of, I don't want to say failed him, but he expected a different reaction from her, I guess is how I'll word it. And the fact that that reaction wasn't there kind of threw him off balance. I tried to counter that with, you know, the people that she's around at the moment, and she might not have been able to react in the way that he was expecting her to, which could have been possible. But she's difficult for me to deal with on a good day, because there's definitely a personality clash there between the two of us. And I know a lot of people are like, well, then don't deal with her. We kind of have to. We're not in a position where we have the luxury to just not deal with her. So, you know, we're stuck in this like never-ending loop of setting boundaries and watching them get bulldozed, if that makes sense, and not being able to stop it. But she doesn't really you were not. This one has been so buggy lately. I'm usually better at not. You guys don't normally see how much I get these stuck in the rocks. It really depends on the angle. I've been hitting that angle just perfect to get this guy stuck in there. I don't know if she just doesn't have the capability to acknowledge even what plagues Russell. I don't know if she just doesn't understand, or what it, because it's not something tangible. I don't know, but it's really frustrating because she doesn't really acknowledge or appreciate or even consider any of his issues whatsoever, and it's upsetting. I'm not saying he needs to have eggshells walked on around him. I'm not saying that at all. But consideration isn't taken ever with words or anything. When it comes to how he's handling a situation or something. I mean, depression's a bitch. Deep depression's a bitch. And some days it's a battle just to get out of bed and do something. Like, you know, and there'll be days where, like, she'll, like, yell at him over the phone. Well, get up off your ass and do X. You just need to fucking go do it. And it's like, what? It doesn't work that way when, you know, you're on medication to try to help fix a thing and it's not fixing it. And there's only so much that can be done. And it's just, I don't know if it's lack of comprehension. I don't know if it's willful stubbornness. I don't know. But it's just, ugh. It's one of my pet peeves with her. That, you know, in her mind that he's just being lazy or, you know, about doing the thing, but it doesn't work that way, and it's not what it is. It's not what it is at all. And she's on her own medication that pulled her out of her own funk, so you would think that she would appreciate the situation, but she seems to not remember what it was like to not be medicated now. She hasn't been on that medication that long. Maybe 2 years, if that. I don't know. It's just fucking frustrating dealing with her. Because she seems to know the exact thing to do to piss him off, and does it. She knows what buttons to push to get a rise out of him. And she does it to me, too. And she does it at the worst possible times. And over things that I've repeatedly asked her not to do over the 10 plus years that we've been living here. So I'm kind of glad she's on her RV trip at the moment. I'm not looking forward to September. Especially considering his aunt's going to be with her and probably living right outside of our bedroom window. So that's gonna be fun. And they've got the aunt's got her own big dog, I think, still. And we've got our two guys, and our outside cat is not going to appreciate this big ass Rottweiler. I'm trying not to. I can't afford to. And I'd probably break my hand trying to let's be perfectly honest. I would probably trip and something would happen to me instead. So we're gonna try not to do that. The sanity is in question though. Will I still be sane by the time Christmas rolls around? Place your bets. Place your bets. 'Cause, you know, I've had that dive off the cliff before where mental stability kind of just fell out from underneath of me. It's been a number of years since that happened. I was in my 20s, early 20s when that happened. So I'm gonna say maybe 20, between 21 and say 20, no. I'm gonna say it happened maybe around when I was 19 or 20. Is when I feel like that happened. So it's, and I'm gonna be 41 this year. So I remember what that feeling felt like very, very much. We'll see what happens come September, but I'm like, I'm just trying to cope. I'm trying to... It was not a fun feeling to experience. I never tried to do anything that would cause harm to anyone or myself. I just kind of fell into a puddle. I think the day it full force hit me, I slid down the front door of the apartment that I was staying in at the time and just cried, curled up on the floor for like 2 hours before I had any ability at all to get up off of the floor. And then I like crawled up the stairs because like our apartment entrance was on the floor, and then there was stairs that you took to get up into like the living room. And I just cried for like 2 hours straight. Tried to get myself together and deal with the shit that was going on, that was crumbling down around me, and realized I couldn't yet, and ended up calling Russell Collect on my cell phone at the time, which was another huge ass bill. That and cried for about another 2 hours on the phone with him. And because we were still, were we engaged yet? No, we weren't engaged yet. We were just friends at that point. I guess internet, long distance, girlfriend, boyfriend at that point. So that was tough. Just everything hitting all at once, where it decided it was just gonna be a whole ass mental assault. I don't want that to happen again. Hopefully they'll get here, realize they can't park where they wanted to park, find out that the driveway's not level enough for them to park in, and only be here like a week before they go get in somebody else's driveway. Right now I feel like they're just wearing out driveway welcomes, and they're just staying in places until their host has had enough of them being parked in their driveway. Finally made it past 37, died at 49. Hey, new personal best! I mean, I'm sorry you died, but hey, Taco, new personal best. New personal best. That's still something to celebrate. You did it once. You can back there again. And get back there again. So, you know, look for the victories. Look for the victories. Don't look at it as, oh, damn, you know. I mean, yeah, it's sad. It's sad to die at 49. Trust me. But, you know, new personal bests should still be celebrated. And now you have, you know, another goal to work towards. And you did it once, you can definitely do it again. Getting all of the greens all of a sudden. So I'm sorry we're going with the longer leveling format on these last three. It's the last three, so we're gonna have a little bit more time to spend between them. And then you get a look into what my leveling prep or stream prep actually looks like for these guys, which is hours of this. So this one hasn't been too bad. Granted, she's 51, but, you know, almost 5 hours to it's gonna probably be at the 5 hour mark or just over by the time we hit 52 here. Not terrible. I've had to kill these guys, which makes it also not terrible. I can't kill anything else. She's too fragile. I can't even kill the foxes. They took I killed one. She's too fragile. I have to deal with these guys. I don't know if it'd be a little bit better if I had gotten all the gear. But, at this point, I haven't bothered going back to try to find more gear because I just, I'm out here now. I don't feel like going back to find 3 pieces of gear. I'm just like, fuck it. You can't be too sad you're eating Taco Bell. Chicken quesadilla. I think that ibuprofen might actually be starting to do something. At least staving off the worst of it at the moment. I might have to hit that up again later, but yeah, it was so weird. My neck is such a fucking mess. I kind of felt like I was gonna get one last night when I went to bed, but I'm like, no. We'll be okay. I'm not gonna take anything before I go to bed. And then I was fighting with my damn pillow and the pillowcase and everything last night. I don't know what the fuck it was. I couldn't get comfortable. My pillow felt like it was just too much. I don't know if I'm just getting hypersensitive to everything, and I'm just like, no. Too much fabric bunching up around me. I was just like, nah. I was having a fit last night. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck it was. But, I feel a little fuzzy at the moment, so hopefully that's the worst it gets. It's better than when I first woke up. When I first woke up, I wasn't sure if we were going to do this today. I don't even remember what time did I get up? 2:30? I got up at 2:30 because the husband wasn't back from running my mom to the store yet, to my knowledge, and I was like, nothing looks out of place. I knew that was gonna happen. Why are you getting stuck in the rock today? Why? No matter where I'm pulling you from, you're just being all sorts of stubborn. Oh, I'm battling a migraine that's trying to settle in. When people don't have them, it's hard to describe it. My neck sometimes sets off a migraine, or maybe my neck issues, when that starts to flare up, maybe that's a partial symptom of mine that it's about to happen. I don't know. A precursor, maybe. Or fuck, maybe it's a cervical migraine. Although sometimes I have like the normal behind the eye stuff. Sometimes it starts in the back of my head, where my skull and spine meet. Just feels like, at times when I'm having a bad one, it feels like somebody just smashed the back of my head with a sledgehammer. It just hurts to the point of tears sometimes. I'm not like that now. If I was like that, I wouldn't be sitting here talking. Sound would be bad. It was starting to hurt a little bit in that area when I first got up. Wasn't sure if we were going to stream today. I quick down some ibuprofen, down some water. I'm like, am I dehydrated? Like, what the fuck's going on? Do I need caffeine? So I started doing like all of the things, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Is it the heat? Is it hormones? You know, I'm good with the hormonal headaches, and either coming or going or both. So that's always fun. And I was like, please, 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 just let me get through this for now. And it might be starting to back off a little bit, but it's weird. I'll enter this state of like mind fuzz or fog or just sort of detachedness where I kind of feel like I'm floating. It's not like a pain medication floating. It's just like trying to process too much kind of floating. I don't know. It's just fuzzy, mentally fuzzy. I'm hoping that usually means that it's like starting to cycle down. I hope that's what this is. And that it's not just gearing back up for later. We'll see. If I end up canceling tomorrow's Parkitect stream last minute, we'll know that it cycled back up on me. But, you know, the ones, the 24-hour, like, I never have a short one. Never. Never. I envy the people that only have them for, like, 6 hours. I'm like, how? How do you only have a 6-hour one? Minimum 24 hours for me. Minimum. Most of the time. And I'm so jealous when that happens, because I've had them go 3 days before with no relief whatsoever. Where laying down, my head touching a pillow is just agony. Sitting, like, that's why sometimes I've managed to be able to get myself to a point where I can kind of at least grind some levels on a character to some degree. When I'm dealing with one, not like a bad nauseous one, but before it gets to the nauseous level, I can kind of play. I'm not that coherent, but I can kind of play. Especially if it's to the point where I can't lay down. But there's times where I'm just like sitting here, like my head touching anything hurts. But it's not like that today, at the moment. Hopefully it doesn't. But, you know, it's... Hopefully we got it soon enough, or maybe it's on its way out, and it'll keep going. 'Cause migraines suck. Migraines in the heat are even worse. 'Cause then you have the icky, sticky, humid, warm nastiness assaulting you on top of the migraine pain. And you're just laying there like, take me now. Just make this stop. Make it stop. You know, and it's just... It's awful. We're not there today. Not yet. I don't know if it's gonna get that way. It may or may not. Hopefully it doesn't. I don't have like the 3-day bad ones very often. Maybe 2 or 3 times a year. If I'm lucky. But, and welcome to Mrs. Rock Guru as well. Everybody's here today. All challenges bloodthirsty. What the fuck am I doing? Tidal soul. I see, I'm still fuzzy. Resto shaman. The dyslexia gets worse too. Oh goodness. Sorry, I'm trying to... I feel like I'm in the after migraine phase, which is weird because I didn't have the full-blown migraine yet. I don't know what's going on. It's a little weird. Tidal soul, resto shaman dings 52 slash plate. That's what we want next. So I'm struggling. We're doing it though. I'm struggling. So we're at 5 days. What were we before? Five days, 22 hours, 3 minutes. 5 days, 22 hours, 10 minutes. I don't really understand the slash played timing sometimes. I know it's nowhere near what real world timestamp is. Nowhere near. I mean, I guess it's the time increments that you're logged in on the character. And so it doesn't count the time that you're not logged in. No, why? There we go. This isn't totally spies or anything. I never actually watched it. I only saw it in passing and just would pause briefly, and I'm like, kids watch this? I don't get it. I'm a Gargoyles, Rainbow, well, watched a little bit of Rainbow Bright. My Little Pony kind of girl, the classic My Little Pony, not... We watched a little bit of Friendship is Magic, and it was okay, but... You know, anything past that was a little much for me to deal with. Sometimes I'd watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Cartoons just aren't the same as they used to be. They're just not. They hit different. Like, I don't understand the Dragon Ball Z shit. 2 time walking groups which have screamed through the dungeon, and part of the party has not been in the room for the kills. See, that pisses me off. Okay, soapbox time. As much as people outright bitch. And oh, I accidentally clicked the dog. Whoops. The dog gives you booze. As much as people outright bitch about queue times in the looking for dungeon stuff, you know, why in the fuck, when you get in there to do the thing, are you trying to blast through in 2 minutes flat? Like, you waited this long to get in there, and now you're screaming through. Like, if you didn't have the time to waste waiting in the queue when you knew how long the queue would most likely be, then why did you join the queue? If the queue was starting to take too long and it was starting to get close to when you had to go do something else, why didn't you leave the queue? Why the hell are you doing these to just blast through them when the whole party's not together and then nobody's enjoying themselves? What the fuck is the point? If you are going to scream through them, just get a guild group or a group of your friends and lull your ass through. Like, you're fucking with other people's time that actually want to do the thing and get the credit for the thing after they've patiently waited, and now you're fucking with them because you're in a goddamn hurry. Just, if the whole group's not on the same page about run, then don't do it and don't be a dick. That's a dick move. Stop it. Run it solo then. Don't fuck with other people like that. That's not fair. It's not fun. Stop it. Like, they left my warlock and the healer out of the first, like, and then they bitch, why wasn't I getting healed? 'Cause you didn't make sure the entire group was with you for the fight. I almost quit WoW at one point because I was so upset. I was trying to learn how to mage, okay? I don't normally leave my priest bubble, because priest is what I've done for so long, since Burning Crusade. It was the second class I ever played. So, and it was the one I tank healed the dungeon groups with. It was my healer that I took through raids until I had to switch to the shaman during Pandaria. But it was my comfort zone, right? And Russell's like, oh, you should learn how to DPS. You really need to learn how to DPS. So that way you don't have to deal with the fuckery of being a healer so much. And, because, you know, you get anxious when you're healing and everything. And I'm like, alright, I've tried to tank before. I get so upset about mobs getting away from me. I can't have it. Can't handle it. Because I'm like, oh god, it got away from me. You know, and I'm like, people are gonna hate me. And so healing's like my zone. And he's like, no, I'll teach you how to mage. Level a mage. And I'm like, okay. He's decent at mage. I had never dungeoned with them. I had only leveled them outside of dungeoning, just, you know, questing and stuff. And I was really super nervous. Didn't really know the rotations that well. I had looked something up on NiseyBGN. And, had kind of had a rough idea of what I was supposed to be doing. I was Frost, so I had my elemental. Super anxious, super nervous going into this one looking for dungeon group. I was like, you're gonna be fine, don't worry about it. Well, the queue pops and we get in, and I guess the tank and a DPS and a healer were from the same guild, and they were trying to speed rush this one dungeon in BFA, which you really couldn't do because of how it was set up. I don't even remember what it was. I know there was some kind of cave that we were going through, and there was like these big tall rock pillars that we had to like weave around to follow a path to get to the next room. I don't even fucking remember what the dungeon was. And there were all kinds of patrols everywhere. All kinds of trash patrols. Well, I had my elemental, you know, not everybody sees movement on the screen at the same exact time as you move. There's a slight nanosecond delay. You can't assume that everybody in the group is going to dodge the trash if they're not standing on top of you and moving with you. And even then, hitboxes are a little funny, lag and things. So the tank was trying to dodge through the trash and not fight it. And I always hate people that do this. Just kill the damn trash. You're not saving any time. You're not. You're not cool. You're not being a bat. Just fucking kill it. Because you have to take the time to wait for the trash to move. Or the patrols and stuff. Especially if they're quick moving patrols. And then you have to hope that everybody's with you. And inevitably somebody's going to accidentally pull because they lagged behind, or, you know, oh my god, something needed my attention for like 2 seconds. And I looked away from the screen for 2 seconds and didn't see you move, and now I'm with you. But now we're out of sync, and the patrol's gonna hit me because I wasn't right with you at that split second, and you only had like 2 seconds to walk through, and it was 2.2 that I was behind you, and, you know, so trash is gonna trigger. They fucking lost their shit about something not getting a spell not going off that I guess I was supposed to do or something during one boss fight. My pet grabbed the trash on another thing that he was trying to dodge. I'm like, then they got pissy and started talking like I wasn't even there, and they're like, oh, well, who did this? Oh, the mage did this. And then, bam, vote kick. Like, I didn't even get the chance to say, hey, guys, I'm trying to learn this class. I've never DPS'd with this in a dungeon before. As I'm typing that out, I was booted out of the dungeon. I was like, what the fuck just happened? And because they had 3 people in the dungeon that were together, it happened like almost instantly. I think Russell's the one that told me that it was a vote kick. And then he left because he's like, you guys are dicks. And like, they just started like trash talking me before I even had the chance to explain, hey, trying to learn a new character that I've never played before, never really, you know, I've only quested with. Questing on a DPS class is a hell of a lot different than dungeoning, because you have to be a lot faster, you have to have your rotations down, everything. I was so upset I almost quit WoW. I was like, see, Russell, this is why I don't DPS, and this is why I don't do dungeons anymore. It was god awful. Like, from that day forward, I haven't done a dungeon since. I think I did maybe Love is in the Air twice on my healer, because that went so quick it didn't matter. But I haven't done a single dungeon this expansion whatsoever. I don't even know what they look like inside. It's not worth it to me. Why am I gonna put myself through this mental torture when people are assholes? And I know a lot of people are like, oh, the dungeon community's not that bad. The fuck it is. Like, why are you gonna be dicks and waste everybody's time and make everybody miserable when everybody was waiting to do the thing? It makes no damn sense. And it just makes you look like the dick because you're rushing everybody along. Like, if you legit don't have time, leave the queue. Like, just man up and say, hey, this queue took longer than I thought. You know, or I only have X amount of time. Is it okay if we try to dodge some stuff? You know, be upfront with people. You're allowed to talk to them. It's not a library. You can talk to people in the group chat. Like, talk to people. Tell them what the plan is. Ask. Is it okay if we can try to speedrun this? Nope. Like, I'd prefer not to. Like, I waited this long. I would like to actually see the dungeon and learn the dungeon when I've never been here before. People are morons, and people are assholes, and people suck. So, I'll get off my soapbox now. So what was that? 4, 5, 6, 7. 800 gold? 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 1 is 10. 10, carry the 1. No. Like 800 gold, yeah. A little over 800, roughly. Roughly. Alright, so Shaman's done. Sorry, I go off on tangents. That happens here. I just wish sucky human beings would find other sucky human beings and then they can all run their same dungeons, and that, you know, other people can do other things. Like, I wish there was a box that you could check. This is going to be a speed run. And then those that want to do the speed runs and dodge the trash and think they're the shit and that they can do no wrong, they can all run with each other. And then there could be, like, another section of looking for dungeon where you can check a box of, you know, normal speed. We're gonna learn the dungeon together. We're, you know, there may be wipes. Like, you know, we're not gonna be dicks. It costs absolutely nothing to not be a dick to people. Like, now, I'm not saying that some people don't deserve to have their dickness reciprocated. But, you know, as long as it's done within reason. But, you know, if we would all just try not to be awful to each other, then, you know, we wouldn't have to worry about reciprocating it back, because there wouldn't be a need to. And I'm not saying it has to be reciprocated back, but sometimes some people just behave a certain way and it triggers that behavior being thrown right back at them. And it sucks, and I don't like to be that way, and I try not to be that way. Usually my first reaction is hurtness, or like that feeling of being scolded when it first happens, and I'm like, damn, the fuck is your problem? And but I'm my own worst enemy anyway. I always think everything's my fault to begin with. But then it hits a point where I'm like, no, back the fuck up. No, that's not what happened. And no, you're no. But you know, hopefully if people would just be civil to one another at the very least. I'm not saying you have to be everybody's best friend, but you know, at least be civil. Like, you wouldn't act like that to somebody's face. Like, what the hell? A lot of people act very differently behind a keyboard than they would in person. Some people would not be quite so bold, and I think a lot of people need to learn how to behave when they're behind a keyboard, that keyboard is not an armor that makes you invincible, that gives you free range to be a dick. It's not. That dick reputation will follow you, and eventually people will find out who you are behind that keyboard if you've wronged the wrong person. If you've taken things a step too far. Just, damn, stop it. Be nice. We're all going through shit. Just stop it. You don't have to be a dick. But then again, we had a really low tolerance policy for that shit in our guild. Like, if I saw you being an asshole in trade chat and you didn't know I was in trade chat and I saw you, you were gone. I was like, no, we're not doing this. Like, when you are behaving in dungeons, when you are behaving in trade chat, when you're interacting with other people, if you're going to be an asshole, you're not being part of this guild, because when you have our guild name attached to you, you're also representing us, and that's not who we are, and I'm not dealing with it. So if I saw it, or somebody came to me and started talking to me about your behavior, I would investigate it, and, you know, if that's what I found to be the case, and it wasn't a poorly done joke, then you'd be gone. And if it was a joke, you were given one chance to not behave like that, and if it happened again, then you were done. We didn't put up with that shit. And I think a lot more people need to be
I need to target something.
held accountable for their behavior at times. But they won't be. And that's the frustratingest part of all. Anyhow. So there's... I have to talk to Lita. Lita's not feeling well at the moment. So I'm not sure what's gonna happen this weekend. I'm hoping she's feeling better. I haven't checked in with her yet. As of right now, there will be a podcast this weekend. Some things happened over the weekend, so as of right now, I think there's still a podcast this weekend, Taco. I gotta talk to Lita. I don't know if you've talked to her. So like nothing super terrible, but I know she hasn't been feeling well the past couple of days. So there should be a podcast this weekend, as of right now. I keep triggering this guy. Only once has he managed to find a pathway up. Otherwise, he keeps evading. So Taco should be on the show this weekend. Last I heard anything. I haven't been told there's not going to be, so at the moment... Are you coming up? Or are you gonna evade again? You gonna evade? You coming up? What you doing? I don't want to have a turtle suddenly turn around and bite me in the ass. What you doing, friend? What you doing? Alright, you reset. Okay, cool. But Taco's supposed to be on the show this weekend. 7 p.m. Eastern on the WoW Challenges Twitch page. I'm going to be co-hosting with Lita, so we'll get to have a chatty chat. Anybody that has a potential name that Taco can use with the word taco in it, feel free to send that into the WoW Challenges email or send it to us on Twitter. WoW Challenges Twitter account. DMs are open. And we can read those out on the air. Or you can Discord it to me. I'm in Discord too. In the WoW Challenges Discord. It's Nisey, parentheses, Ni is in your body part, C is in ICU. That is me in the WoW Challenges Discord. You can give that to me, or you can send it to Lita, and we will make sure that it will get added to our list of things and stuff. I have to look at the show notes. I actually haven't looked at them yet. It was weird and kind of freeing after finishing the Dark Moon article. I'm like, I've got time. I don't know what to do with myself. I should have been working on my working man, I guess, but I just haven't. It's been so fucking hot. We're getting all of the greens today. My RNG is like, here, have a green, have a green, have a green. What level are we? We're 55 on this one. So this one can handle the mobs that do gore pretty well. I'm in tank spec. And things have been decent. So we will see what happens there. so far. I don't know what level we'll be able to deal with the level 60 mobs. I'm not sure if it's going to be 57 or 58. I'm hoping it's 57, although if I do head over to the level 60 mobs at 57, it might just be the moths at first, because that gore on coming from the level 60s hits a bit different. Hits a bit harder. So we'll see. We'll see. But the foxes I can do no problem. The foxes give 100 XP less than these mobs that give gore, or that do gore, and I think that's because their hit points are a little bit lower. So the amount of XP that the mobs have been giving seem to have been based on the mob's health. So like these guys are at 6,700 and change, and these guys are at 5,404. So I think that's why we're awarding a bit less XP. Susie's getting a drink. Ooh. So what kind of mattresses do you guys want? This is gonna be a really this is gonna be a really strange question. What kind of mattresses do you guys like? Do you like your current mattress? Are you happy with it? Is it a good mattress? Are you comfy? Or do you hate your mattress with a passion? Or you just want to set it on fire? I know it's an odd question, but the last mattress we had was a spring mattress that was like extra firm or something. We'd actually gotten it for free or for like 50 bucks or something. One of Russell's coworkers at the casino at the time, some lady returned it because it was too firm or something, and they were just gonna throw it away, and she hadn't really used it. I think she had it like a day, and so we're like, okay, sure, because we were sleeping on the floor at the time, so we're like, alright, cool. And we had that thing for a number of years, like a number of years. And we brought it down from New Jersey with us, and then it felt like the springs were digging into my ribs, and it just got awful hurt to lay on, and I could never get comfortable, and I was just always in pain laying on it. We had looked at mattresses at one point, but hadn't bought any. And then, oh, chat's gonna get chatty. And then, we finally had some money to get one, and foam mattresses were starting to be a thing. And, I was having all kinds of issues with my tailbone area and stuff, and it was just so uncomfortable. And the springs were digging into me on the other mattresses, and I was trying to lay on them, and I wasn't happy. And, we were looking at the foam ones. I was actually looking at purple, right? But purple's so expensive. And they hadn't been around that long at the time, and I was intrigued and really wanted to sit on it to try it, but nobody around here had any. Like, there's some stores now that will have a selection of like the online-y ones, so that you can actually see if it would work for you, because Russell was reading that some people didn't like the texture of the purple mattresses, and there wasn't a purple dealer anywhere near us, and I was like, damn, that's a lot of money to spend on something sight unseen. And yeah, they had like credits back and stuff, but to return it was a whole huge thing, and there was a lot of opportunity for it to not return, to get the money back. And so we weren't too sure about doing that. We ended up with some foam mattress from a local furniture store. It didn't break the bank. It was okay at first, but our asses got a little bit, I don't know, complacent, lazy about turning the mattress, not flipping it over, like rotating it, because the way this was set up, you didn't flip it, you had to spin it, like so that the head was at the bottom and the bottom was at the head, like every month. And you know, him and I, we lose track of time sometimes. Him especially, like, he'll get confused as to what day it is a lot of the time, especially when there's a holiday, and like if we don't do the trash on Sunday night, he'll be saying to me, "What are you streaming today?" On Monday, and I'm like, "It's Monday, I don't have a stream." And then he looks at me confused with like the dog head tilt, like, "It's Monday?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So so we didn't always remember to turn it, rotate it. And we've had it for a couple of years now. And there's actually like a hill in the middle of it. So it's weird. Like, you can feel where part of it's a little higher than the other at times. So when he would sleep in the other room to keep the cat from having a meltdown, I would try to sleep in the middle to try to lay on top of that to get it to try to even itself out. But now it's to the point where I think, I don't know if it's deteriorating or if, you know, I'm not 110 pounds any longer, and, I guess the heavier you are, the harder it is on the mattresses, and anyhow, at this point, I'm having trouble getting out of the bed, like, sitting up. I feel like a turtle on my back when I try to get up out of this bed. It is very difficult to get up out of now. Especially when the dog is laying in bed with me and he's up against me and I can't get up how I want to get up. So we're eventually, probably like a year or two from now, we're going to try to replace this mattress. I mean, I think the mattress and the base were like $600 together, so we can't really complain. We've gotten a few years out of it. I just was thinking it was going to last longer. But we're trying to figure out what route we're going to go. Russell wants to go Sleep Number, and I'm like, that's going to be an expensive purchase. He goes, yeah, I know. So that's going to definitely have to be something that's saved for, if it happens at all. But I will say I kind of miss my air mattress to a small degree. But we could never have an air mattress now with the cats. They're way too rough, because the male cats, all three of them, I've seen all three of them do it. I can't really call it a box spring, because it's more like a metal frame that's fabric covered. I don't even know if there's springs inside of it. There might be, but I don't think they do anything. This base that the mattress has to sit on, right? Because it has to sit on something. Because we didn't have a platform bed, so we couldn't say nah to the base. We've got something, so we had to get something to put this on. We don't have a frame that the base sits on, because the type of floor this is, we felt like it would put divots in the floor with with how tiny the feet are on the bed frames. So we're like, we were trying not to damage this floor, but I think now we're like, fuck it. But since the base is covered in fabric that, you know, would make you feel like it's a traditional box spring, all of the male cats will lay down on their sides and grab the fabric with their front feet that's on this base and will drag themselves around the edge of the bed. And I'm like, what in the fuck are you doing? And all I hear is the fabric ripping from the cat dragging themselves 3/4 of the way around the bed. And I'm like, stop it! They actually ripped open a hole on 1 or 2 of the corners of this base. I don't know why. I don't know what they were trying to get. There's nothing in there. Boredom, maybe? Like, we had to put tape over it because they wouldn't leave it alone. There's either duct tape or packing tape over it now. And I'm just like, stop destroying the thing. Just stop. So if you guys have any good mattress recommendations, let me know. It can have springs, it can be foam, whatever. Just something to think about, to keep in mind for when it comes time and if and when opportunity presents itself for us to replace this thing. You know, we will see. What our options are. But yeah, totally open to recommendations. Our outside step cat child that has adopted us has decided now that when it gets to be a certain time at night, if he hasn't seen us much during the day, then he's going to sit outside of our front door. And our door opens into our bedroom because of the way the house is laid out at the moment. He will sit there because he can hear us talking, because the insulation in this house sucks, or soundproofing. And he will meow at the top of his lungs until one of us comes out. He's that desperate for attention. And I'm like, buddy, I don't know what's going on, but you don't live here. Russell thought somebody else put flea medication on him, because the flea medication spot where we put it the last time was like sticky, maybe a week or so ago. And I'm like, well, who the hell would have done that? I think we are the only ones that are interacting that closely with this guy. And Russell's like, well, maybe he does have a home. He does disappear sometimes for a day or so at a time. I'm like, I don't know. I would think that he would have a collar or something on him. We haven't gotten him scanned for a chip though, so I don't know. He's not fixed. Or he doesn't appear to be fixed, I'll put it that way. He's got some big ass marbles on him. So I don't know, but now he's started meowing. And he's getting braver because now he'll jump up and lay in Russell's lap on our one chair outside, upside down, and just lay there. And Russell's like, I need to go in now. I've been out here for like 20 minutes. I have to go inside. And the cat's like, nope, you're not going anywhere. And I feel so bad, but we cannot bring him in. And I don't know if calling animal control would really do anything. It might eventually get him adopted to somebody, but I don't know if he would just leave them and try to come find us again. Like, he's decided he lives here. And I'm like, buddy, you can't live here. You can't come inside. There are 3 other male cats and 2 female cats. Everybody is fixed, but you can't come in. All of these male cats would rip the shit out of each other, especially since this white one is so territorial whenever one of the other neighborhood cats stops by to visit. Like, they've gotten into full-fledged knockout, flip in the air, beat the shit out of you fights outside that we've had to try to break up or spray a water bottle at them just to keep them from running in the road. So I'm like hell you're coming in when I've got other male cats. If we didn't have any other cats in the house, then yeah, we'd think about it. We would get him vetted eventually and then bring him in, but we can't right now, and I don't know if he'd be happy being a solely indoor cat anyway. I don't know. But he keeps like hanging around the door and trying to look for an opportunity to run in, and I'm like, no, you can't. He seems to really like Zuzu, which is odd, because at first they were kind of apprehensive with each other. And, the one night that Russell took Zuzu out to go pee across the street to pee on the tree and smell the bushes at the church that all of the dogs pee on, to check, we call it checking his messages, for the day, that, I had to go outside and kind of wait on the front porch in case the cat showed up, so the cat didn't try to cross the street in the dark, because sometimes he'll just sit down in the middle of the street, and we're like, no, I know there's not that much traffic this late, but there are some cars. I don't want you getting hit by a car. And sometimes I'm able to distract him, but that night I couldn't, and he's like, no, and he just took off across the street to go follow Russell, and I'm like, where are you going? And, so I had to cross the street to see what the fuck was going on. And he's watching Zuzu pee on the bushes, right? And I'm like, this is fascinating. Because this cat seems absolutely enthralled with the fact that the dog is smelling the bushes and peeing on them. And I ended up taking Zuzu's leash. And I think Russell was trying to distract the cat. Or pet the cat or something. And I'm trying to shepherd the dog back in the direction of the house, because I had had enough of shenanigans. And, excuse me. So we're trying to get back. And we're getting closer to the road and stuff. And all of a sudden, the cat, like, crouches down in the grass, looking kind of wiggy, and I'm like, what's going, sorry, I have to change how I'm sitting. My tailbone's been really unhappy the past couple of days. I can move, but just certain ways I'm sitting, it feels like it needs to shift or something, and it's not. So I'm like, cat, what are you doing? You've suddenly crouched down while the dog is walking. What is happening? Because the cat makes me a little nervous, because I never know how he's gonna react to the dog, because sometimes when the dog charges up to him, he gets like all defensive and skittish, and I never know if there's gonna be a foot with claws extended flying at the dog's face, because I'm like, oh shit. And Zuzu stopped to pee again, and all of a sudden, Num Nums, we call him Num Nums because that's all he fucking does is eat, he jumps up and charges at Zuzu and almost tried to pounce him, and I'm like, are you trying to play with the dog? It was very odd, and it was the first time I had ever seen this happen. And I was like, okay, weird. Now Russell will usually take the dogs out during the day. Sometimes I'll get them once in a while, but he usually does it. And, or at least he usually does it now that he's home. Whenever he's home, he usually gets them. For some reason, I think Russell had to go to the bathroom first. He's like, I'll get you when I come back. And the dog was kind of pacing, so I'm like, oh, fine, I'll just take you. I took Zuzu out to pee, And Zuzu was kind of leading me back towards the carport, and I'm like, can't we just pee up here? Like, I don't want to walk that far. It's hot, and I don't want you on the hot concrete and the hot asphalt of the front of the driveway. And he's like, no, I want to go this way. I'm like, yeah, but you can't. You're gonna burn your feet. Because we've had heat advisories that are 105 to 109 the past couple of days. We haven't hit 100 yet for physical temperature, but they're saying that's coming this weekend or on Friday or something. And I'm like, oh, good. There's that. And all of a sudden, I hear meow, and I'm like, what? And there's Num Nums, and I'm like, hi, buddy, stay there. Doggy and I are just gonna go pee. And Zuzu's trying to find a spot to pee, and Num Nums walks right up and almost brushes against Zuzu just as he's like lifting his leg to pee. And I'm like, really? And then that startled Zuzu. And I'm like, since when are you this comfy cozy with the dog? Like, it kind of unnerved me at first because I had not seen him try to do this before. And then Zuzu didn't want to pee there now that the cat had touched him. And I'm like, Zuzu's not... Like, Zuzu likes Num Nums, which is weird because we have cats inside, but he's super nervous about the cats inside, I think, because sometimes the cats swing at them. I don't know what it is, but sometimes a couple of the cats and the dogs get into standoffs at times, and I will hear snapping and growling and whining at times. And when the cats are getting a little full of themselves. And I'm just like, really? You have no problems with Num Nums, but you're gonna whine because cows sat down next to you. Like, what? So it took me like 10 minutes longer to get the dog to find a spot to pee because Num Nums wouldn't back the fuck off and let him pee. I'm like, cat, you gotta give him a minute. Like, he's trying to pee. And we don't have any money for extra flea medication. As it is, we're gonna have to try to find money for flea medication soon. We had 2 doses left that we put on the dogs, and whatever this is, like, the first month it seemed to kinda help. The second month it didn't. The second dose hasn't done shit. We usually use NexGard on the dogs, little chewable thingy, and that's done really well. However, because it's a chewable, our vet's like, well, we need to do an office visit. We haven't seen them in over a year, and we need to see them before we can issue that. And I'm like, I was so mad. I mean, I understand them wanting to see them, but the dogs had been there within the last year. Not for like a checkup, but for things. Zuzu had a stomach flare up like 10 months ago, and we had gotten some more stomach medication from them, and I'm fairly certain they saw him at least one of those times because he had like 2 of them back to back, almost like within a month of each other. And Momo had his neck surgery like last July, and it was like the end of May when we had called, the beginning of June. And they're like, well, we haven't seen them in a year. And I'm like, you're full of shit, because Momo had his neck surgery to remove the cyst that turned out to be cancerous. And I'm pretty sure that you all at least put hands on Momo when he hurt his back. No, Weddington did. But we used 2 different vets. But I know sure as shit that for the stomach, the most recent stomach flare-up, that Zuzu had been seen for at least one of them, because we called them back and said, yeah, it flared up again like 2 months later, and they're like, that's fine, we'll just give you this, you don't have to bring them in again. So, like, I don't know, Russell's like, I don't even recognize the voice that answered the phone. he's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. And I'm just like, really? So we couldn't get the next guard because we didn't have the money for the office visit and the next guard. It was going to be one or the other. So I was kind of pissed about that. And the stuff that we picked up off Amazon, the first dose seemed to do okay. We can't do frontline anymore. The fleas here laugh at it. It doesn't do anything. They're like immune to it. It made them like super fleas and the population just exploded. And we had a bitch of a time getting that dealt with. And I found a flea on me the other day and I'm like, oh fuck. So now we have to find all of our flea combs and start combing the cats really good. We were gonna do a dawn bath on the dogs, but we had just put the latest round of flea medication that we had left on them. We didn't have any more for the cats. And so I don't know when we're gonna get around to making that happen. That's fun. And I'm like, we did so good. Why do we have fleas again? Like, we only ended up doing like one round of flea medication last summer. Like, going into the fall. But for some reason this year, I think the cat brought them back into the yard. And it's been so hot. I don't know, the heat seemed to make the fleas just kind of be everywhere, I guess. I think the cat brought them back into the yard. We put the extra flea medication that we had left over on the outside cat, one of them. But, I pulled a flea off one of the cats last night and I'm like, shit. And we can't exactly wash the cats in Dawn. Well, we could, but I don't think either one of us is gonna come out of that looking real good. So I'd rather not, if we can help it. Oh, that's when we had to do flea medications. When we got little, we had to do a round on everybody because she was covered in fleas when we brought her in. But it never got worse than that one dose did everything. But it's always something, isn't it? Always. But I'm excited. We should be painting this weekend, providing I'm feeling well enough to. So that's fun. We haven't painted in a while. I was actually going through my paint and I was like, oh shit, some of this is separated. So we're gonna have to either shake it real good or stir it real good. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. I've got everything turned upside down so that the paint should be getting cozy with itself again. Like down towards the opening on the bottle, because some of it was just like kind of thrown on its side in the other container and all that stuff. So we got that going. These guys are very loud for being critters. All that thumping around is them. Like, in theory, they shouldn't be making that much noise. I wish I could remember where I was standing, where this one triggered and actually came up, but I can't. I've stood in a couple different places, and I'll be damned if I can get that one to find a pathway up now. Now it just likes to evade. Is it stuck in the rock? That might be what it is. I think it's glitched in the rock. That must be why it's not coming up. So many of the mobs out here. Getting stuck in there. First group did that. They left the group. So we'll see what September brings and what kind of new fresh hell is going to be exposed to us. I'm hoping that they change their mind and this isn't one of their half-baked plans that happens. Because his mom likes to talk out her ass a lot. And, oh yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And then the plan changes 600 times more. And then we're never told what the final new plan is. So, like, they usually go and stay with one of their other sisters in Oklahoma, and Russell and I are just so confused as to why they're not doing that now. The sister that they normally stay with in Oklahoma, she's having a house built somewhere. I thought they were building it in Missouri. Again, maybe I was given wrong information. I don't fucking know. I'm like the fourth person to get the info, so who the fuck knows if what I was told is still correct. But that sister's husband has the mother-in-law's car and has had the car since they left. And I'm like, why does he have the car? And she wasn't gonna let him use the car at first. But he tried to say that he lent us money that we never paid back. And Russell and I are sitting here looking at each other like, what money? Like, what are you talking about? Russell seemed to think it might have involved one of the dogs and an emergency vet thing, but I'm not sure about that. We may have been under the impression that the money came from his mom, not that it came from them, and we may not have been told that it had come from them or something. Because we pay back money that people lend us, especially when we understand that it's a loan. I don't know, it was a whole huge thing, and then the mother-in-law was like, fuck it, just use the car. Like, I don't think it was really a loan. I think we had been told it was, here, don't worry about paying us back. And we're like, you're sure? Because we need to know. And they were like, no, don't worry about it. And I don't know if husband and wife were on the same page when that happened, so we didn't worry about it. And then it got, like, thrown back in our faces, because I was like, if we had owed somebody money, like, legitly owed them, we would have paid them back by now. And if somebody owed you $300 and it had been over 6 months and they hadn't given you anything, wouldn't you have been like, hey, don't forget you still owe me that money? Like, I'd want my money if it was a loan. But I don't know. We're real not real sure what the fuck that was all about. But, so, that sister's husband has his mom's car. Because he had to use it to go back and forth from somewhere to Oklahoma City, and he didn't want to spend the money to put it in his big truck. And I'm like, well, why the fuck did you buy a big truck then? You don't haul shit. You don't need the big truck. You bought the big truck. Get rid of the big truck if you don't want to spend the gas money to put it in there. That particular gentleman has always felt a little bit of a vibe of shadiness when dealing with him. You know how some people give off used car salesman vibe? And not like reputable company, like name brand car salesman. I'm talking like Carmart level used car salesman vibe. That's kind of what he gives off.
I don't have a target.
So I'm always a little apprehensive at times when we've had to do anything involving him. Probably all unfounded feeling, but sometimes, you know,
Target something first.
things will happen in life and you'll see people's true colors pop through. And one thing happened that was a little shady that definitely gave us pause, and we're like, oh, so that just happened. But it was all around his grandmother's estate being settled and stuff, and people get weird where money's involved, and for some reason estates with family members bring out the worst in people even when stuff is in writing. And you're like, there's no way that fuckery could happen here. I have everything written down how I want it to be dealt with and how it's gonna be handled and who's gonna be handling it. But you know, you're not there to put your foot down, so whoever you pick to handle your affairs, if you want them done the way you want them done, make sure you pick a strong person that's not gonna let other people get up to shenanigans that you don't want happening. One of my half siblings, and we're using that term loosely, when my grandmother started to get a little weird towards the end, my dad and my uncle had to kind of break in to the house because she kept it locked at like Fort Knox because she wasn't answering the phone, and she wouldn't, like, nobody had seen her and everything for like a couple of days. So they kind of had to break in to check on her, and they found her passed away. But within like a day or two of the news spreading through the family, this half sibling from my dad's previous marriage materialized, and I hadn't heard anything from him in a couple of years, maybe. And he was trying to tell my dad and my uncle, my dad's brother, that that he had been visiting with her recently and that she had him write down a will, and that this was a new will and and that it had him as the executor of everything for the entire estate, and that everything was going to him. Okay. My dad and my uncle basically told my dad's son from a previous marriage that he was full of shit. That they knew that they were to be the executors of the estate. It was decided years ago. They knew where the original will was. It was in a safe that was hidden in her closet. That was a safe that they think that they had from when they had run a gas station that they just moved into the house. It was a heavy bitch of a safe. If you didn't know it was there, you never would have known it even existed, because she had this deep, it wasn't really a walk-in, well, I guess it was kind of a walk-in closet. There was a couple of closets in the house, and she had 2 closets in her bedroom. One was like a special closet that had a couple of her fur coats in. I'm pretty sure they might have been original fur coats from when, you know, people didn't care about that sort of thing. And there's our ding. And she had another closet that you wouldn't think was as deep as it was, but it was deep. Like, you could fully walk in that closet and hide and nobody would know you were there, because she had all these like floor length dresses, and you know, some of them were just everyday dresses, skirts, blouses, coats, everything, and it was in the very back. Like, all of this stuff was in front of it. And my dad and uncle basically told this half sibling of mine, "You're full of shit. The will's in the safe." They went and got the will. And showed it to him. Sorry, I had to do something real quick. And they're like, no, this ain't it. And right there, it was notarized and had everybody's signatures on it, and showed that, you know, my dad and my uncle were the joint executors. Everything was, the house was to be sold. There were some things, like, I think it said that the house was to be sold and the money split between, the 2 of them. There really wasn't any provisions for anything else in the house in there. And I don't know if she had any stocks or anything, but whatever, like, everything was to be sold off. And or she had some CDs and stuff that I think were cashed in when the time came that they could be touched. She did a lot of bank CDs that were like locked in for like 5 and 10 year periods. And he threw an almighty fit over it, and they're like, say what you want, but if you try to put up a fuss about it, we're gonna argue she was not of sound mind when she made that, if she only made this within the past couple of days, and this is the one that's going to stand. And they're like, we don't want to, but we will fight this out in court if we have to, if you challenge it. And it was a whole fiasco. But we could never prove that it was underhanded, but I'm just like, if you could tell she wasn't in a right state of mind, why the fuck didn't you contact her sons? You're a parent, and say, hey, I think you need to go check on grandma, because grandma's trying to tell me to write down why would you not say anything to anybody until after the fact? Like, it was just so fucking shady. And I'm like, really? Just like, wow. Unless he thought grandma had more money than she did, but I mean, you know, no, that ain't it. So it's just like, the things that people try to get away with when someone passes away in a family is unbelievable. Thirsty. Oh, we're on the Demon Hunter. Vengeance. Sorry. Page 404 happened there for a second. I'm like, vengeance what? What am I supposed to be typing here? Page not found. My brain did the little weird loading circle thing. It's buffering right now. Brain is buffering. Bloodthirsty, Soulglaive, Ding's level. Wow, my brain is buffering really hard at the moment. What did we just ding? Was it 56? Yes. We get to go shopping. We need a slash blade here. That's nice. I just want to type something in the chat. I didn't really want to click you. 5 days. 18 hours. Now, I am fascinated that her slash blade time is pretty close to the shaman's. But the shaman's real world timestamp is going to be atrociously longer. Because that one was started in Legion, and this one was started in Shadowlands. Total kills. I'm trying. I'm struggling. I'm trying. I'm getting fuzzy. I think I need to eat. I haven't eaten yet today. We may or may not do Minecraft later. It depends on how I feel. I don't advertise that, so just make sure that your notifications are on here. And Minecraft is Mikeless. We just kind of chill, play, explore, and walk back and forth 6 times to my chests because I can't remember what's in what box. And by the time I get over to do what I was going to work on, I realized I forgot something back in the box that I needed. So that's always fun. That's why I love the time I spend walking back and forth, because I'm like, okay, so we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And then by the time I get halfway back, I look at the thing and I'm like, oh, right, I needed this, and I didn't grab it. And then I have to walk back and get it and find it in all of the things. So my damn absent-mindedness. Always a fun time. Alright, so 110 gold, not terrible, not terrible. Alright, let's do the gray stuff first. Alright, so 326 on the grays. Didn't get that many greens on this one this level. Little surprised. I would have thought we would have gotten a couple bit more, but you know, my RNG is always kind of, you know, laughing and pointing at me in the corner. But still, it was something. Hopefully that'll be enough money to go shopping with without completely bankrupting us. We'll see. I'm not sure if I can wear the, sorry, this tree, I thought it was like somebody's mount or something, and it distracted me out of the corner of my eye. Hopefully we'll have enough. Hopefully we'll be able to put the stuff on. I'm not sure if we have to wait till 57 or not. We'll figure that out when I get there. So that's it for WoW for today. Everybody lived. I don't have the mental capacity to work on the working man right now. That ain't happening. Tomorrow we're gonna attempt to do Parkitect. Hopefully I'll be feeling okay. And Friday we're supposed to do Planet Zoo. We might have a slightly later start time on Planet Zoo on Friday. We will see temperature-wise how hot it is in here. Because they're talking we might actually hit 100 for real actual temperature. And we've been struggling in this room to keep it from blazing hot, even with the AC on when it's been in the high 90s. So we're gonna play Friday by ear. If it's too hot in the afternoon, we'll push the start time back a little bit. Make sure you're following on Twitter so that you'll see any stream cancellations, start time adjustments, or that we're going live announcements there. I'm supposed to be co-hosting with Lita on Saturday for the Wild Challenges podcast. I gotta check in with her and see how she's feeling. Hopefully that will still be happening. And I will let you guys know what's up with that. So we will see. And then Sunday we'll be doing art. We'll be starting our painting project. So yay, we'll actually get to start our stained glass flamingo guy. I'm gonna try to get that sketch sorted. I might get that cleaned up tonight and figure out if I have to gesso some of the messiness, if I don't think it's gonna bleed through the paint or not. Hopefully it won't. The paint's not usually quite that transparent, but we'll see. I'll go to good once over with my erasers and stuff, and we'll figure that out from there. So with that, let's see, are we gonna visit anybody today? No, I don't see anybody on the short list that's up that I feel like visiting right now. So we'll save that for another day. You guys have a good night. Try to stay cool. Try to muddle through. Be careful out there on your challengers. And I hope to see you all tomorrow. Maybe for Michael's Minecraft later tonight. We'll see how I'm feeling. But until next time we're together, you guys have a good one.